Hello readers and writers, I'm MJ and today we're doing my January TBR. So in January, I am participating in the Kindle Kobo Clean Out Readathon. And this is a readathon that is hosted by Criminali and MJ, as well as some additional hosts that are not hosts of the broader Read What You Own readathon. And so I will go and have all their channels linked below with their announcement videos. I was really excited for this event. I am participating in the Read What You Own challenge. I'm currently at 47 out of my goal of 100 books, and as Christmas is coming and ebooks are going to go on sale, I definitely am feeling the desire to pick up more books, but I have so many that I have and I own that I need to read. I'm really glad that this readathon is helping me clean them out. While I've been focusing so much on my physical TBR, as a general whole in 2024, I do want to switch over to my Kindle Scribe. Actually, all my notes for this video on here. I want to use my Kindle Scribe a lot more. I'm actually moving over my digital planner to my Kindle Scribe, and I have been an avid ebook reader for forever. I used to actually read ebooks on my Palm Pilots. Those were a thing, and before Amazon sold ebooks, you would go get them off of a website, I think called ebooks.com or something like that, and I don't own those anymore, in fact, which is sad. I would love to see what those books are that I had, but I have had a Kindle since 2008, May of 2008, so shortly after they released. And so I have a huge collection of ebooks that I own, and I'm very excited to work on reading through some of those and getting some of my newest ones cleared off. I do also have a Kobo. I switched over to Kobo as my primary reading device. Or the idea was to, but I found it's very hard to support indie authors primarily through Kobo, although that's less so. So I do use both a Kobo and a Kindle. So my goal is to switch from physical books, only buying physical books if they're in a book box or if I've read them and I want to have them on my shelves, and primarily go back to reading through ebooks, because for me it's just such an amazing format to have. Like, I have 4,000 plus books on this device in my hand, as long as I have access to the internet, and that is just fantastic. So I'm very excited for this challenge. There are 9 prompts for this specific readathon, and so that's my TBR for January. All of them are books that I own, so they will all account for the Read What You Own challenge. And the first prompt is the oldest book. I am specifying the oldest unread book on my TBR because I don't want to reread the oldest book I have. So the oldest book I have on my TBR on my Kindle is Twilight. And I got that in May of 2008. In that same month, I bought an indie book called Refn's Choice by S.C. Butler. And it's been how many years later, and I still have yet to read this indie book. So it actually was unpublished for a while, and so I didn't pick it up, but I checked, it is republished now again, and I am going to finally read this book that I've had for way too long without reading. So I'm very excited about that one. The next prompt, I have absolutely no idea what it's about at all. I guess it doesn't necessarily matter because either way, I'm going to be reading it. The second book is the newest book, and again, I'm specifying this as the newest unread book, so that actually the newest book I have added to my Kindle is Lucky Penny, which is written by an indie author and is a YA mystery, and I adored it. 5 stars. One of my favorite books of 2023, and definitely suggest you check it out. But for this challenge, I wanted to do the newest unread book that I have, and that is The Changeling by Roz Sabot. I hopefully am pronouncing that correctly. And I picked up The Changeling. It is written by an indie author. I picked up The Changeling because it's supposed to have autistic rep in it. It's a fantasy. I did start it during my camping, while I was camping, but it was a pretty long book, and then I just didn't pick it up anymore. And so I want to prioritize reading it again for this challenge. It is longer. It's like 600-700 pages, so it's going to take a bit of time to get through it. But I was enjoying it, what I had read so far, so I'm excited about that. The next prompt is start or continue a series. So for this, I am picking the Starlight Chronicles Ursus Borealis, Book 1 by D.L. Llewellyn. And D.L. Llewellyn is an indie author that I know through social media. She is a phenomenal human being. She's hosted me on her website. And I have been meaning to pick up her book for a long time. I believe it's the first book of a 3-book series, or three books are out in this series. And I know very little bit about it except that it is a fantasy book, but it's one that I wanted to prioritize in 2024, so I'm very excited that I will be reading it in January. The next book is But It Was Free. So for this one, I am picking an Amazon Prime book. So every month, if you are an Amazon Prime member, and I am, which I know we can discuss the ethics of that, but I am, if you get to choose a free digital book, sometimes more than one, but I am picking the last free book I got from Amazon Prime, which I've stopped picking right now while I'm doing the Read What You Own challenge. I'm not picking up anymore. I have so many of these that are unread. But this one is The Spy Coast by Tess Gerritsen. I don't know what it's about beyond the fact that it is a thriller, and I got it for free. And along the same lines, the next prompt is a new to you author, and so I picked up the second newest Amazon Prime book that I own, and that is City People by Elizabeth Topp. And I believe this is also a thriller book as well. I know nothing about these books. I did read the description before I purchased them, and they seem to be the ones that would most interest me. But not every month are there books that I find interesting, and yet I still pick one up. And I'm gonna try and change that, because I don't know, there just doesn't seem any reason to do that when there's so many books that I want to read. The next prompt is, why did I do this? And this is a great question for this book. So I am picking up The Jewels of January by Julia Hart, and this is an indie published book that is a romance, and I don't know why I picked it up, because I don't read romance. So there's got to be something about this book that made me decide to pick it up. I'm guessing it might have autism rep, but from what I could see, I mean, I didn't see that anywhere in the description, so I have no idea why I got this at all. Beyond, obviously, I wanted to support the author, but I will be picking it up and giving it a shot, because, again, I want to support the author. The next book on my list is BookTube Author, and this one was actually a hard one for me, especially since I haven't been buying a lot of books recently, and I don't know of any BookTube author, well, very many booktube authors, well, any but the one I picked, that, okay, I don't know very many booktube authors. So if you are on booktube and are also an author, please let me know down in the comments so I can go check out your book when I'm done with the Read What You Own challenge, because I do want to support more booktube authors. Most of the authors that I know indie-wise are on other social media platforms but are not on booktube. And so yeah, that's something I would like to change. But I did kind of decide to go with, I don't know, I feel like it's almost a cop-out, but it fits the prompt, and that is The Alloy of Law by Brandon Sanderson. And this is the first book in the second part of the Mistborn trilogy. This is the last series I have to read by Brandon Sanderson. Everything else of his I pretty much finished up in 2023 with the Year of Sanderson. But I do own The Alloy of Law in ebook form. I got it through an ebook deal on that one website. Well, I don't even know what it's called anymore. Anyways, I got it through one of those like package deals, and so I have it both on my Kobo and my Kindle, and I've been meaning to pick it up to read anyways and start that series and finish the rest of Sanderson's books. So January seems like a good time to pick it up, which is ironic because I'm finishing the Year of Sanderson and starting 2024 and still have a Sanderson book on my TBR. Go figure. Alright, the next prompt is clean up and organize. And this prompt could be taken any number of ways. I chose to go back to one of my earlier books that I had purchased and pick one of those. My thought being is eventually, once I clean up my physical TBR, I want to do a series about reading through all the past books I have on my Kindle and just kind of cleaning it up, making sure I've read everything, getting rid of and hauling some of the ebooks, whatever I need to do. So one of those I picked up is Orphans of Chaos by John C. Wright. I also got this, I believe, in May of 2008, so I've had it for a while. But it's published by Tor Publishing. And the last prompt is Blame It on BookTube. And this is a book you bought basically because of BookTube. And for this, I'm reading Junker 7 by J. Kelly Olive. I think I got this because of a booktuber. It could have been on another social media platform, but I'm fairly certain I got it because of it was on like a trans representation booktube. And so it's queer sci-fi. And I think it's trans rep. It could just be queer sci-fi, and it just sounded really interesting, and I wanted to pick it up, and it's been sitting on my Kindle for several months, so I'm excited to actually pick this up. Of the 9 books that I picked, 5 of them are indie published, which I think is phenomenal, because my 24 in 2024 indie read is going to be off to a really great start with 5 indie books on my TBR already in January, and they're books that I'm really excited about. So I think that's amazing that the majority of my TBR is indie published and some really exciting books. So there we go. That is my Kindle Kobo clean out. And are you going to be participating? What is your first book that you bought on your e-reader? As always, keep reading, keep writing, and until next time.